Greetings everybody, I'm Chris and welcome back to the lab where we explore the deeper layers of the Pokemon TCG. Here in the chemistry of, I take a single topic and reveal the elements behind it, the structure, the purpose and the hidden mechanism and details that shape our cards and the way we collect. Today we're examining the art of card protection, the layers that shields your pull, the material and technique that safeguard their condition and the choices that determine whether a card remains pristine, loses value or even tells its story decades from now. We'll uncover the subtle details that can make all the difference between a fleeting pull and a collection preserved like a true laboratory specimen. And here's what we will cover in this episode. The layers of protection from penny sleeves, standard sleeves, semi-rigids and top loaders, how to store your card long term and what environmental factors matter most, and common mistakes collectors make and how to avoid them. By the end you'll know exactly how to protect your collection from the first layer to the final shell. Let's start with the foundation, the very first layer that touches every card. Penny sleeves. They are simple, they are transparent and they are cheap. That's why they're called penny sleeves. That's why they absolutely great to have a quick protection for your cards. We start with these ones because they are not precision cards. So you see the berry here has little bit space around the card, which means this is a very wide, very big penny sleeve. In comparison to this one, you see there's not much space, but you have still enough space to remove your card easily. That's the basic penny sleeve. Then we have the next step, which will be here precision cards. You see here there's no space and it's sometimes a little bit harder to get them out if you don't know, especially if you just started with them, but they great for later with the basic sleeves. And we have two kinds here. We have the top loader, where my Japanese night stretchers in, just the names, how the name says, top loader, you load it from the top, and you got side loaders, which is self-explanatory. You load it from the side. So what are the purposes for these cards? So both of them, they can use it for double sleeving. I bring this back later. I think in this case you need your personal preferences. For example, the side loaders I use for cards which I use in one of these three binders. Very simple. Why? Because these binders are top loader binder, so which can happen when I fall it, that some of these cards they just pull out. So I just want the upper layer of the card protected. That's why I use the side loaders most for. I have another purpose of them, but I come to this later. Another thing important about penny sleeves are don't cheap on them. Like they are so cheap in general. Like you get 100 pack for, I don't know, $2, which is not penny for each, but still it's so cheap. And the more quality you need, because all of them, they are PFC free and acid free. Why is that important? I have here this little graph there where you can see. So this is the pH value here, which says how strong a acid or alkaline can be. So think about that you have some kind of acid in your penny sleeve, which will not give you burns or something, but we're talking about cardboard. So cardboard is a very sensitive material, so you don't want any, because look at the graph here. There's nothing you want to have on your cards. Like water, which is the neutral one, would be still not nice, but this is the, how do you say, it's the biggest, the smallest bad thing that can happen to it. So don't cheap on your penny sleeves, they are cheap already, don't cheap on them. And look what you need. I think the best start is just buy some penny sleeves with some space, and after you get a little bit better you can think about precision cuts here. So since we have the first layer now, let's talk about more stability. Let's talk about standard sleeves. So as you can see, I pulled out my sleeves. I have two, so nothing of this is sponsored, just to be clear. I have two. So I have the Dragon Shields and the Cortex. I started my journey with the Dragon Shields. They have at all a solid quality. Here's one of these. And they have a big variety of colors and themes you can buy. But after a time I actually changed to the Cortex, because the Cortex, like, oh no, the Dragon Shield, as I said, they are very solid quality. I can't, but because of one thing. So this here is the Dragon Shield. You can see it's a little bit rough on the surface, and then we have the Cortex, which has still a little rough surface, but it's not that rough. So why is that important? Because we touched that. So these are mostly for players. I don't see a big purpose of putting stuff like good cuts in shields like this, because we come to this later. But if you play with these cards, rough surfaces have a big downside. Because they're rough, stuff can stick, especially grease from your fingers. You can't see that here, but if you have like another color which is not so dark like black, then you can see like all the grease and dust start to collecting on this. That's why I changed to the Cortex. They are smoother and it makes it easier for long-term shuffling when you play with these cards. But another thing you can do is, now we come back to this, there's the practice of double sleeving. Why do people double sleeve their cards? Yes, it's very simple, to protect them even better, because yeah, I actually don't do that with my cards right now, but let's see. If you have a single card, a normal card just in here, you still can have some things happen to this. So the more layers you put here, the less things that can happen. So now we have a double sleeve cut with a side loader. So even if something comes up here, like let's say in worst case some liquid, the card won't be affected by the water that comes in. Of course, if you flood completely, stuff will come here and go to the side and your card is ruined. What I also see is that people make their double sleeves like this. They use the top loader while they make a, let's call it bottom loader, and then they put it here. So they have like less space, less things that could happen to this, because even though something goes up down here, it might stop, it might be more protected. You never have 100% protection if you play with your cards. Let's keep that in mind. You can't. Everything can happen, like a fall or I don't know, a bend of somebody because they looking at the while you're playing. Everything can happen, yes, but it gives you just another layer that protects your card from this. And yeah, you have many things. I know they also have the katana, which I heard also they have very good quality and longevity, is that the proper word? And one more thing to premium sleeve is if you want to put your game up a little bit, you can also go to the Pokemon Center. If you go to a regional or something like this, or you even know where you find, then you can have some of these sweet sleeves where you can, and actually this finally gets where it belongs, to Vincent. And one more thing I want to cover is, since we're talking about standard sleeves, are these ones here. If you're playing Pokemon, you get a bunch of sleeves. I have here my little trainer toolkit full of them. Do I use them? Not really, but I do. For what? I actually use them for my holo cards. Just simple holo cards. It's nothing special here. Really, it's nothing really special on these. But I think a holo still deserves a little protection. I put them in a separate box where I protect them, but I think at least the holo I can sleeve, since I have that many sleeves here. Like, it looks like I even can buy myself so many other stuff and I still have enough of them. You can also use them if you want to try a new deck and you don't have the fitting sleeves, go with them. I think they're not that great for playing. I can see when people are playing with these sleeves for a longer time, they look very worn down, so I don't recommend them for long-term use. Stick to the Cortex, Cortana, Dragon Shield, whatever, and then you will be fine. To be honest, for my next topic, I don't use them, but I still want to cover them. Semi-rigids. They are like a bridge between penny sleeves and top loader, which I come soon. Top loaders are very sturdy, they're very protective, and semi-rigids are just a little bit more flexible. And to be honest, I don't have many people who use them. I don't ask much about, but I think top loader are the best way to keep at least your best hits. And now the ultimate shield for your most valuable cards, top loaders. You can't do anything wrong with these things. They are also very cheap to buy. I think, wait, what was that? I think that was a 25 pack. It was 25 standard size. And I think maybe $4, maybe let it be 5. But if you have a card which is actually very valuable, you want to protect it properly. Like, this helps you for dust and little scratches. That's all. You might get even a premium sleeve, which gives a extra layer. But I saw people sometimes going through my binder and they like tipping with, and I can feel and hear how the nail is going on the cards. Like, why do people do that? But to prevent this, we have top loaders. Yes, here's where my big stuff is in. So yeah, now even if somebody would push it too hard, it's fine, because now we have a nice big plastic layer over it. And I put them here in my little box because I don't want to have them in my binder, because we have some cards like these here you know. Some of them I don't even, I said I don't trade them at all. That's why they come here in the box with a top loader, and they safe. They're also good if you want to ship them or send them in for grading, because you never know what happened on the way there to your grading company or to the guy or you wanted to send your card. Because if you just put this in an envelope like this, anything can happen. Anything can happen. So you just put your cards here and you can push it and then just go, then you go down. And one more thing to the top loader, what I wanted to explain is what type of sleeve you should use, because you should not just put a naked card like this in your top loader. Why? It's actually very simple, because this is still cardboard. Never forget that, that's cardboard. And if you put it here, the plastic is harder than the card itself. So you might even hear that. All of this are scratches, you know, put on the card. So please use a penny sleeve. There's another thing, that's another way why I use the side loader. So this is the night stretcher with the in the top loader sleeve. So now I'm gonna put it in, nice. But for the case I want to put it out, you can have it like this, where you just, and then what's happening here. So you can of course just pull it like this, but some people are just tip it a little bit and then see. And now is exactly what I wanted to show. The card comes out before the sleeve. So you can see I pull it out a little bit more. So as you can see, the sleeve is still there. The card is actually, oops, the card goes out easier out of this. So now think of this not as a night stretcher, but any card. Let it be a Moonbryon for your imagination, let it be. So now you want just put it out, and then you have like this little thing where, I don't know, maybe it's a little bit dirty, but it can scratch the surface of the card. Now I have the whole card out, but the sleeve is still in. And now we have an even worse problem to get out the sleeve. Sometimes, yes, this goes easy. So that's why I recommend you the side loader. Oops. Because now, even if you want to put it out, the card always comes out with the sleeve. Easy, easy, and no damage to your card. That's all about the top loader so far. And now I have a little bonus for you, because I said the top loader is the ultimate shield, which is not really right in some cases, but magnetic cases. I don't know why last year they put this in collection and boxes, now they don't. I hope they bring it back, but magnetic cases are actually great. Also a side loader here. Only thing is you have to look that your card is really inside. Even with the precision cut, it might be a little bit on this side, a little bit here, but you have enough space to put it with a precision cut sleeve in here. And this is one, if you have, you can buy these as well at Ultimate Guard and get some, like if you have cards you really like and you think they're valuable and you still want to have them like a lucky charm or something, then I recommend these, because you also can get these in neutral colors, not in this. And a special thing here, this one is actually not a magnetic case for a card, no, it's actually a magnetic case for a Japanese booster, but I wasn't sure. But you know, if you know the value of this card, a 15 bucks to pay extra just to have the perfect protection for some kinds of cards, you should think about. Like, if a card has a value, reached a value, don't cheap on this. Like, this card is valuable, that's why I want to protect it and give it the protection it deserves. And now we coming to the last thing, because now we talked about all the layers you can put on your card, but now physical protection is one thing. The environment is just as important. Now let's talk about the environmental factors that can really mess up your collection. So actually I wanted to put this shroomish a little bit longer in the sun, but I can't. So now you can't really see difference between, but you can see a difference probably on this one. Yes, it's bent just because of humidity. So keep your cards dry and cool. Like, you don't want to store your cards in a tropical climate. You want to have them in a moderate, let's say around 30 and 40% humidity, and not too high, of course, because this is what happens. It's cardboard. It's, never forget, this is just cardboard. So if it's surrounded by water in the air, it will absorb it after a time, and this will happen. Top loaders can prevent a little bit the bending, but you don't want to have this happen in the first place. Another very important thing is UV radiation, the sun. That's why I actually bought this one here. It's protecting my card from UV light. Maybe you saw it once. There's this Moltres which was too long in the sun and it bleached out, and that's what happened by sun. The particles in the color, they will be destroyed, and after time color will fade. So that's why important. Not too hot, not too humid, and no light, no sunlight. I'm not talking about my lamp here or something. I'm talking about UV light, because this is the one that mess up your cards. Now we got all information so far. We got the layers we put on a card. We covered the environmental factors. So what else to know? Just a quick run up. How do you protect them after that? Of course, we have binders. I use two kind of binders. I have my Ultimate Guard 4.4. I mean here 4 by 4. No, it's 4 times 3. Excuse. This is my trade binder. It's a side loader, which is also a nice thing, because compared to my other, because this is the one I take out. This is where my stuff is, which I trade. This here is my binder where I put my nice cards, or most of them, or maybe the cards I really like. You can see here again, the Archaludon is not aligned because of that. But since I don't take this out that much, it can stay here. I don't have the fear that it might happen and then a card falls out. I might try it. Yes, you see now? Exactly. My cards just came out of the binder, which is something you don't want, but since my cards are always here, I'm fine with that. And other things you can use to protect them are like storage box like this one, or you can buy them, and of course magnetics. I think these are all the things we use to protect our cards, and I might gonna make another video about storaging. But yeah, think about this. Even the best protection layer fails if the environment isn't controlled. Treat your storage like a lab, precise, stable and consistent. One more thing about consistency, I actually have a dehumidifier, my goodness, in my room because I had it once and I find out that I can use it for this. So if you have it, that's cool, then you don't have to take care. If not, try to look for a dry place for your cards. And let's end this with some common mistakes. What people do. First of all, never put your card without a sleeve in a binder. If you trade a card like this, a normal reverse for, okay, that's fine. But if you start to get full arts or something, don't do that, because this, let's come back to my binder. This binder goes everywhere where I go Pokemon related. So what can happen? Dust, like I can see dust here inside. So if you have a nice card, you put it in, boom, scratch on it, because there was just a little piece of dust. So just sleeve them, and then, because your binder is also another layer of protection, but it can still be another cause of a scratch or something. So just use a sleeve and then put it in the binder. Next up, cheap or sticky. And that's when you know you have the cheap, when they start sticking. Because that's the acid that's coming out, or the PFC. It makes the card sticky and it starts to damage your card. That's why another thing is, penny sleeves are a great thing. See this? It looks hideous. So what you can do with this, you can just throw it away, because it's not that much, maybe 5 cents if it tops, I don't know. It's not that much. Throw it away, buy a new one. Next up is a PFC binder, or another thing is an O-ring binder, because this will bend your cards also, and they can also make them less valuable. So invest if you want to keep your collection in nice condition and pristine condition. Don't save on your protection. That's all what I can say about this. Now that we've layered all the cards from base to shell and controlled the environment, your collection is ready for anything. We've seen how each layer, each choice, each precaution works together like a carefully conducted experiment. And I wanted to say sorry, I think this video came out a little bit longer than I expected. I hope you still find it helpful and interesting. If yes, leave a like, leave a subscribe, because this is one of hopefully many episodes, and I also have some news about the Pokemon TCG and some rippings. I have them here right now, yes. So check them out and stay curious, keep collecting, and I'll see you back in the next one. Peace.